Okay. I wasn't going to do the review at first. I was like, fuck it. They don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I was like, I didn't want to wake up in the morning and see memes of me, a black chick going crazy over pro wrestling. Because it's not that serious. It's not. But I can be mad if I want to, right? I, first of all, I wanted to say the vibe of Rampage Grand Slam is not the same as Dynamite Grand Slam. Dynamite Grand Slam had damn near perfect build going into it, so it felt important. Rampage, they put a whole bunch of shit last second, and they expect you to enjoy it like we did Dynamite Grand Slam. It's not the same. So some things here are just not really worth watching, like a regular episode of Rampage. Now, what I'm upset about, I'm going to rant about it now and get it out the way. So I'm going to discuss two matches, but they're not in order. Ring of Honor, I paid $9.99 for it. It's chump change, but I'm paying to support something that I love. I have no problem with it. I have been covering Ring of Honor all year since the very first episode, all the pay-per-views, and even the pay-per-views from last year. I've been covering everything. I've been watching like a hawk, and I've been hoping that Tony Khan buying it would, help the promotion be somewhat what it was, if anything. The number one issue with Tony Khan to begin with is the booking. So that's something that Ring of Honor have definitely been taking a pounding of, is bad booking. And AEW too. Number one, we have a fatal four-way match, tag match. We have the Righteous, the Kingdom, Best Friends, and the Hardys. Whichever team wins are the number one contenders for the Ring of Honor tag titles that MJF and Adam Cole have for no fucking reason. Okay, I like them, but it's for no reason. Adam Cole, yes, he has been in Ring of Honor in the past, but he hasn't stepped foot there this year. And then we have MJF, who probably will never step foot in Ring of Honor. We don't even get to see them via satellite or anything. So why do they have to go? I have no idea. Now, moving on. This match started off great. We had the Hardys and the Best Friends kind of form a little alliance against the heel teams, but it don't last that long. And the vibe is good. I'm just like, all right, the Kingdom's going to win. I don't even need to pay attention that much. And guess what? They do not win. The Righteous won. People in AEW don't even know who the fuck the Righteous are. And they're pretty much featured on ROH. And majority of AEW audience do not watch ROH. I know that for a fact. So now people are just wondering, well, who is this team that just won that's going against MJF and Adam Cole for the titles? Matter of fact, the Righteous, they've been doing trios with Stu Grayson. So what's going on here? And to top it off, the Kingdom, they have been consistent since day one as a tag team in Ring of Honor. Since day one. I'm not too much of a fan of theirs, but I give credit where credit's due. They've been putting in the work. And they have a storyline going on with MJF and Adam Cole. So why aren't they getting this opportunity? Why is it the Righteous getting this opportunity? And I don't even understand how they even, you know what? Let me move on. So that's that. And then after that, they have the Best Friends in the Kingdom. They fighting like cats and dogs after the match. And it's like they're letting us know that, oh, there's problems between these teams and whatever. So now what? They're going to have a tag team match? We don't want to see Best Friends in the Kingdom? What the fuck is that? All right, let me move on. So, main event, Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page versus the Mogul Embassy, Toa Leona, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan. Khan, give me a call. This was a really great match. I really enjoyed it. The rest of the show, There was some energy, but obviously the main event had the most energy. Y'all know how the Young Bucks are. Whenever they get in the ring, they're hopping around like they're on some kind of crack or whatever. So they had a lot of energy in this match, and I like that. Now, minutes into the match, Swerve comes out and he's sitting on the ramp and he's watching, and this is a distraction for Hangman Adam Page that he's beefing with right now. Okay. He's beefing with Hangman Adam Page. They're going to have a match at Wrestle Dream. Okay, cool. So the match continues and everybody's doing great and I'm liking it. And part of me is like, well, this is predictable. The Mogul Embassy is going to retain. They do not retain. Hangman and the Young Bucks wins the title, the 6-man tag titles. Make it make sense. The Mogul Embassy, they are on they were on an 18 win streak in Ring of Honor. They strike terror in Ring of Honor. And real talk, there's really no damn trios in Ring of Honor. They're pretty much the only ones, to be honest. But since the first episode, no, let me go back. Since the first time they won the titles, which was last year, they have grown so much as a trios. And I really like them together. And this is not me trying to be biased or whatever, but what sense does it make for you to have the Mogul Embassy striking fear in Ring of Honor and they can't fucking win a match in AEW? You have them go on AEW TV and they're always losing. They're always being a fool of. And it's like they can't get nothing right. I'm glad they've been having TV time and having more opportunities, but what the fuck? So the Young Bucks and Hangman, sure, they've been in ROH. Yes, they've held titles over there. Great. What does it have to do with what's going on right now? What does it have to do with anything? So now these three idiots, they won the titles. Are they going to defend them on Ring of Honor? You have MJF, Adam Cole, tag titles. You have the Young Bucks and Hangman, 6-man tag. Will these motherfuckers come on Ring of Honor to help y'all get some views over there? Is that going to happen? I don't see that happening, and it hasn't happened at this point. I don't understand how any of this makes sense. How is it that you say you want to save Ring of Honor and you're doing the best that you can to bring some prestige into Ring of Honor, but then you take the titles and you give them to people who are AEW? Let's be real. There are two separate promotions, but for whatever reason, Tony Khan likes to put them together and confuse the fuck out of the audience. People don't know who half the people are on Ring of Honor when you keep throwing them in Collision or throwing them on Rampage or whatever. People don't know. But then you take those titles and instead of giving it to people who have been working hard in Ring of Honor, you give them to idiots that have had it all in AEW. Hangman has been fucking world champion. The Young Bucks have been tag team trios. They just get whatever the hell they want. You give them shit. And it's just like, why? What the hell? So now they do this. It was only the Mogul Embassy as 6-man tag and Athena. They're the only champions of Ring of Honor that have been consistently on the fucking shows. Samoa Joe is amazing. He's lovely, but he's hardly on the show. Claudio Castagnoli, hardly on the show. I think that's all the titles. But anyway, what the hell? It's just so frustrating because it's like, I really care about this. Now, Tony Khan would watch this video and feel like I'm bashing him. I'm not bashing at all. Matter of fact, I love what you guys have, and I don't want y'all to lose that. You have to have people on your team who are going to be like, excuse me, Tony, that don't make sense. Let's do XYZ because that makes sense. Is anybody over there saying, Tony, no, not that? Nobody's saying it. Pro wrestling, sure, things are predetermined, it's choreographed, whatever, but it has to make sense. Tony, you can't fucking even get 1 million people to watch Dynamite Grand Slam. Not even 1 million people. But you want to put shit that don't make sense. And you want to say you're trying to save Ring of Honor, but then you're just pretty much just handing out gold to people who will never even step foot over there because that's probably like a demotion for them, right? It's so annoying, you guys. Like, it's just like, we put our time and money into it. Yeah, it's $10, not enough. It's nothing. Yeah, I watch the shows or whatever. It's a Friday night. Somebody could have been taking me out or whatever, but obviously I do prefer watching pro wrestling. Um, I could have been doing something, and I'm watching this type of bullshit that doesn't make sense. Now that I got that out of the way, let me just go quickly over what happened with the rest of the show. So first match we had Christian and Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin and Sting. Christian and Luchasaurus, they started the match real hot and heavy, and I'm feeling good about them, thinking they might take the win here. But you guys already know Darby Allin, whatever he does, he always win. So he does take the win. Now this match does feel like a filler match, just something for them to give us before something big. Now, I do believe tomorrow night on Collision, things are really going to take a turn between Christian and Luchasaurus. Remember, Christian kept saying that there was going to be, that there was going to have a three-way match. Then he was like a handicap match. Then he went back to three-way match. Then he went back to handicap match. Handicap match, it would be Darby versus the two of them. But if it's three-way, it's every man for themselves. So I'm really interested to see where they're going with that. And I do think that whichever one of the two matches is going to be, is going to change things for Christian Luchasaurus. Now, moving on, because that was predictable. Next, we have Hook, Chris Statlander, and Orange Cassidy versus Anna Jay, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. Yes, the predictable thing happened. Orange Cassidy team takes the win. This felt like something you would typically see on Rampage. This is something that they just came up with out of the blue a couple of days ago. This wasn't even featured on the show with their little segment that they did. It was just something online that half of us didn't even see. So like I said, because Dynamite had so much of a build going into it, a nice strong build, by the way, Rampage did not. Everything on Rampage was just sprinkled in like 2 or 3 days ago. So nothing about it really feels special. But the next moment actually is worth watching. Now, we have Tony Schiavone in the ring. He's introducing Don Callis, and he just looked like he's so disgusted just to say his name. Don Callis comes out with Takeshita. Takeshita been rocking that leather coat. He looks so hot in it, figuratively and literally. And then Tony Schiavone does something very surprising to me. Tony Schiavone tells the audience to not only hate Don Callis, but to boo Don Callis. Why would you say that? If Don Callis is a big enough heel, he'll generate his own fucking heat and the crowd will boo him. We don't need your assistance to tell people to give a wrestler some heat. That is a no-no. I can't even believe that he even said that. That just, whatever. It just didn't make sense. Now, this was a whole thing about letting us know if Sammy is part of Don Callis' family or not. Basically, Don Callis confirms that he is. Sammy Guevara comes out, and he's like, Chris Jericho, you ain't shit. I'm part of the family now with Don Callis and everything. And out of the blue, Chris Jericho just runs up in the ring, but then Takeshita and Sammy start putting a beat down on him, and they even started hitting him with chairs. Then they held him down so Don Callis can slap him around a few times, and then Don Callis reaches into his pocket and gets a screwdriver, and he was about to dive that shit into Chris Jericho's forehead, and that's when music hits. Kenny Omega comes out. Yes, you guys, I let Kenny out of my basement so he can make an appearance for you guys. He goes over there. He has a pipe in his hand, and he's ready to swing it at anybody who's near him. But obviously, Don Callis' family, they scatter like flies, so he doesn't get a chance to hit anybody. And then we have the Alpha and the Omega in the ring, staring down one another. And I'm just like, holy shit, this looks good. Then Kenny's in the back. He's walking. And then that guy who's always doing the interviews in the back, I can never remember his name, the guy with the glasses. He comes up to Kenny and he's like, Kenny, so you and Chris Jericho, y'all cool? Or like, what's going on? And Kenny's like, look, I don't give a fuck about Chris Jericho. This whole thing is about me getting my revenge on Uncle Don. We got some unsettled business to take care of. Chris Jericho just happened to be there. Then Chris Jericho comes out. Long story short, after a whole little fucking speech or whatever, he is saying that they should team up and go against Don Callis' family. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds really great. And then out of the blue, they threw in Ibushi in it and say that he was going to partner with them versus Don Callis' family. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So Don Callis is going to be wrestling too with Sammy and Takeshita against you guys? It kind of felt random that they threw Ibushi's name into it because Ibushi's not physically there. To be honest, I would rather see just Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus Takeshita and Sammy. I think that would be better because if it's Don Callis getting in the ring, Don Callis can't do a damn thing. So I don't know. But anyway, we're going to get that at Wrestle Dream. So I'm excited to see that. After that, the show kind of goes downhill. Up next, we have the Dark Order versus the Acclaim. Trios titles on the line. Now, I did say the show went downhill, but this match was actually pretty decent. The Dark Order, they're super talented. They just, whatever reason, just don't get over enough. Whatever, I don't know. I didn't for one moment think that the title was going to change hands here. But they do give a really good effort, and they end up losing. Daddy Ass and the Acclaim end up retaining the titles. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bored with the Acclaim and Daddy Ass. I do like them a lot. I just feel like AEW killed the momentum for a while, and now they're trying to get back on track, and it's just not the same. But the crowd was really nice here. Now we do have Julia Hart versus Sky Blue. This was okay. Didn't necessarily care about this. Julia comes out with Brody King. Brody King is so freaking handsome. Whatever. They have a decent match here, and I know we're gearing for Julia versus Chris Statlander for the TBS title. So after their match, Julia ends up winning. I forgot the name of her finisher. She puts her in submission, and she wouldn't let go even after the bell was rung. Willow Nightingale runs out to get Julia to stop. Julia runs out and hides behind Brody King. And yeah, so I guess we're going to get Julia versus Willow Nightingale. Yeah, that should be really fun. Willow is definitely bigger and taller than Julia. If Julia is on her way to getting a step closer to the TBS title, it's going to be a really interesting matchup between these two girls. So I'm interested to see where that goes. Okay, so since I already talked about the main event, there was one more moment that happens. Santana in action, and you guys know what that means. When they say so-and-so in action, it's a squash match. So Santana comes out. He is facing Bronson from the Iron Savages. I've been saying really nice things about the Iron Savages lately. They're a great tag team. They have definitely improved a lot. Now, this was like maybe 3 minutes, so not your typical squash. Santana looks good here. He is from New York, and the crowd is loving him or whatever because he's in his home state. Cool. The match is 3 minutes. Obviously, he's going to win. He actually looks good here. He's in the ring with someone who is slightly bigger than him, and he's strong, so I do feel like it didn't look like your typical squash. Now, Santana ends up winning, and while he's over there celebrating in the ring, then here comes Ortiz. Ortiz comes out. He's standing on the ramp, and he's watching Santana. Now, we've been hearing about real-life beef, and we've been hearing about on-screen beef between these two. Santana leaves the ring and walks down the ramp, and he stands in front of Ortiz, and they're looking at each other eye to eye, and I'm just like, all right, are you going to punch him in the face or what? And then he walks away, and I'm just like, what? That's it? Look, normally I would just be like, he should have did something. But I'm actually happy that they're taking something that seems to be a real life issues between these two guys and putting it on screen. Now, I'm not 100% sure if there is real beef between these two guys because sometimes on social media, wrestlers don't break kayfabe. So it could be a situation. I don't know. Now, this is what I wanted when the whole thing happened with CM Punk and them. I was like, Tony Khan, nobody is even talking about the pay per view. Everybody's talking about the beatdown that happened that nobody even got a chance to see. We would actually like to see like real life issues kind of play out on screen. And obviously, they never took advantage of that because Tony Khan, the Young Bucks, and them, they're babies and they don't know what's best for business. So, anyway, we got Santana and Ortiz. They're actually going to have a on screen beef with each other, and that's great. And I want to see that. I think fans can gravitate more towards feuds that feel really, really real. And even if they are or not feuding with each other in real life, I think the fans that already think that there is an issue between them in real life will appreciate how they can be able to have all that translate on screen, get a good feud and a good match out of this. And hey, us fans would be the winners at that point. And I do think that both of these guys could really benefit from a feud like this if it's done right. This will definitely set off their solo career, so they won't be tagging anymore, obviously, after this. So I'm really hoping that we get something really great with this feud with these two guys. Other than that, you guys, the show, it literally felt like just a 2 hour rampage, not no grand slam rampage. And you guys know I already ranted about how I felt about things before. I'm just really upset about the whole Ring of Honor thing. The only thing here that I can really say is that Tony Khan, he's not making sense with the booking. It seems more of a what he's dreaming about and what he wants to come out in real life for people to see, rather than what actually makes sense to put together. Tony Khan, you need a team of people who is going to get this shit right, because just you alone is not helping. Guys, thanks so much for watching me rant and go over the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Collision. Bye.